Continuing with the lessons on effective teen-parent communication, we are now on lesson number 5, ask. What we are saying is, as a teenager, you need to learn how to ask from your parents. You need to use language that is for asking. It is not fashionable these days for kids. It's not cool to ask your parents politely, but that's what will make it effective. So when you're asking, you must also be aware that when you ask, there are two possibilities. Either it's a yes or a no, and you must be ready to accept that there is that possibility. Just because you're asking doesn't mean you'll get it. But use the language that is asking, not I need, I want. It's please, may I have this, may I do this, may I go to this place, and explain what you want to do. Number 6, you need to be articulate. This word I'm using as a verb, articulate. You need to express yourself directly and courteously. Because if you're going a long, winded way, there is this impression you create that maybe you're lying, you're making up things as you go along, or maybe you're trying to be manipulative. So be direct and be courteous at the same time, so that it's clear that this is what you're asking for, this is what you'd like to discuss, and you're direct. Moving on to number 7, we need to deposit into the emotional bank account. Now, this concept is like this. With every person that you have a relationship, there is an invisible, imaginary emotional bank account. Each time you do something that is appreciated by the other person, you're making a deposit into that emotional bank account. Each time you break a promise or you do something that disappoints the other person, you're making a withdrawal from that emotional bank account. So looking at your relationship that you have right now between you and your parents, what would you say? Is your emotional bank account in deficit? In other words, you've overdrawn. Is it healthy, or does it have just about enough? So the more actions you take that make your parents happy, the more you meet your commitments with them, you meet your promises, the more deposits you are making into that emotional bank account. And the more deposits you have in the emotional bank account, the healthier the relationship, the more effective the communication. Next, admit your mistakes. When you're wrong, admit your mistakes quickly and emphatically. This is one thing that disempowers an angry parent. Because the one thing that an angry parent expects, and 9 out of 10 times they get, is you being defensive, trying to blame somebody else. But to say, Dad, I am wrong. I made a mistake. I'm learning from my mistake. I shouldn't have done this. I should have known better. You'll find your communication will improve tremendously. Because instead of arguing about who's done it, you can now begin to look at possibilities of how you could do it differently, maybe in future. Moving on to number 9, choose the right time and place. Now, don't be so selfish that just because you're so angry in this moment right now, you want to discuss this issue with your dad right here, right now. And yet the environment is not right. Maybe there are certain people there. Maybe your dad is not in the right frame of mind, or your mom, or whatever. So you must be wise. Try and put yourself in their shoes and say, is this the right time to discuss this issue? And if you're in doubt, you can say, Mom, I have something important to discuss with you. Is this the right time? May I have time to discuss with you? And then she gives you the feedback. But this